Welcome to day 12 of the 21-day weight loss challenge. Today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, which is mindfulness. And we're going to apply this to actual eating. So many of you may have heard of mindfulness and may not fully understand what it is exactly. But what it means is that you're just present in the moment. You're not distracted about future thoughts or ruminating about something that happened in the past. You're actually sitting and enjoying and aware of things that are occurring and just being present. So we want to approach our meals in the same way. So many of us have done mindless eating many times, eating too much popcorn at the theaters. You're sitting down after a long day at work and you grab some type of processed food and you sit down and you watch TV for a few hours. And before you know it, the entire chips bag is gone. So you're like, well, how did that happen? And that really pulls us into the mindless way of eating. But if we look at mindfulness, it's a whole nother approach. So first of all, I just want to share a few notes here that I have with you. When we think about mindfulness, and it's really going to transform your relationship with food, right? So mindful eating is about using mindfulness to reach a state of full attention, right, of your experiences, cravings, and physical cues when you're eating. Involves, for example, eating slowly without distraction and engaging fully with the process of eating. You really want to appreciate the flavors, the textures, and the sensations of your food. This practice, just ongoing muscle. It's like a muscle. The more you use it, the better you're going to get at it. It will really help you understand true hunger. It will enhance your enjoyment of your meals, and then it'll prevent overeating. And a few other things too. When you think about tuning into your hunger signals, it really helps you understand that, are you really hungry, right? First of all, before you even start a meal, are you even hungry? Have you eaten a snack maybe half an hour before and you were full and you're just bored, or got a stress for something like an email? So that'll help with emotional eating. It really will help with your food choices when you're sitting down and being mindful of what you're eating, because you'll sit and think about, once you eat some foods, part of that mindful process is how you feel afterwards. And you'll really break that autopilot eating habit, right? So it'll also slow down some eating. That's another piece that's really important. And when think about it, it'll probably hopefully reduce any type of binge eating when you're stressed. Now, the important thing here is, at the end of the day, we want to create that healthy relationship with food. So that's what we're all going to be about today. So today's experiment, the action step, is going to involve this little guy. He's a cutie. Pun intended. I know it's not funny, but it is funny. Anyway, so I'm going to walk you through just an exercise around mindfulness so you can understand what it actually is. Number one, you may have heard of the raisin experiment. It's a similar thing. I just don't have any raisins, but I like this one anyway because it's definitely more fragrant. But the whole idea is, you really just want to sit in one, choose a time of day that you can do this where you're not going to be distracted. You could set aside, 5 to 10 minutes and just understand the process without little kids running through or your phone dinging like mine is currently, and doing some other things like that. So choose a meal. So mine's going to be this little cutie. I've already peeled the peel off. And you want to sit down, right? So you're comfortable. You don't want to be driving. You don't want to be walking. You don't want to be distracted in that sense. And then as you prepare for this, turn off the TV, your phone, be in a calm setting. Make sure you haven't gone through anything that's more stressful, that your mind is not going to wander during this few minutes that you're here engaging with your food. And start engaging with your senses. So we start with vision, right? So we understand appetite is stimulated by even just the sight of food. You may see something, smell something in salivation. You'll notice that your mouth starts really salivating. And that's occurring right now for me. So for me, it's I'm appreciating the orange. It's small. It's kind of soft. Definitely going to be sticky. And the smell. I love citrus smell. So that's wonderful. The other thing you do is feel it, right? So beyond just it's sticky is, what type of how plump it is. And then if we tear it apart, sound, right? So you can hear the sound as you tear it apart. Again, you're going to appreciate the fragrance as it comes apart, maybe. And so now I've gotten it down to one little wedge here. And The other piece of this is, for example, if you had an orange, you could roll it around, you can hear it kind of being sticky between your fingers. But now you want to eat slowly. And this really is the important piece. So when you put it in your mouth, you want to take the time to actually chew maybe, I don't know, 20, 25 times till it's really liquefied. Because what I want you to do is experience the actual flavor, the juices. And then as you're chewing, maybe think about where this food came from, all the preparation that required to get to you in front of you. Someone had to be a farmer. They had to plant the seed. They had to care for the plant. They had to pick the plant. They had to transport it. The grocery store, then wherever you bought it, or the farmer's market had to put it out. You're working to get the money to buy it. All these different things occurred to get this one item in front of you at this time. And that's part of the mindfulness approach as well, is appreciating what's in front of you. And I find that, I understand I'm a whole food plant-based eater, and I'm always hesitant to mention the ethical component of veganism, but honestly, when I appreciate the value of plant foods, I don't have to think about the harm or the struggle or pain that another living being had to go through to get me my food. So that's come with time. But anyway, just wanted to, it's a feeling that bubbled up and I thought I'd share it. So yeah, so you eat slowly here, right? I'm getting a little bit faster than I normally would, but it's bursting, right? Really think about what you're actually doing and consuming. Listen, feel your tongue as it rolls around. How does that food actually get chewed in your mouth? I think so many of us take that for granted. These teeth and this tongue work together most of the time without biting your tongue in this really amazing relationship. It's like a dance because you think about it, your teeth are going up and down, your tongue is pushing that food around. Can really get to appreciate that. And then you swallow it, right? And you just kind of reflect on those feelings as well. So that's part of the mindfulness piece. You can, again, download the free PDF of the weight loss challenge at the drmarbush.com website. So there's this amazing benefits of being mindful in anything. But when it comes to weight loss, especially during your mealtime, be it a snack or a full meal. And the writing exercise, remember, I'm a big fan of the writing and the journaling because this allows us time to actually think about and put on paper or using a tablet or your phone to see in kind of black and white, maybe the complex relationship we have around food. So in this writing exercise, we want to reflect on mindful eating. So after your meal, think about a few things. Here's a few prompts. What were your initial feelings, right? So were your initial thoughts before starting the experiment? Was it like, this is silly, this is crazy? Or is like, this is interesting. Were you curious? Were you excited to think about it? Maybe describe your sensory experience, right? Do you have the taste, the textures, the smells, the visual appeal? Did anything surprise you during that time? Your emotional response, how did being focused on eating actually make you feel? Did you find it relaxing, challenging, enlightening, stressful? Maybe you're understanding differences between hunger and fullness cues, right? So how did that affect your perception of hunger and fullness? Did you find that you would eat more or less? Again, you can do this with a full meal and see how that affects you. Maybe you notice that you eat 20% less of the food that you normally would consume. And then at the end, what about overall satisfaction? How do you compare this meal with other meals that you don't use a mindfulness approach? And then how would you incorporate this on your daily routine? Is this something that you could feel like you could do regularly, or at least maybe one meal a day, or maybe when you're most struggled meals, maybe the meals that you find that you're eating those foods that are less healthy than the ones that you would like to be consuming? So I hope that was helpful. Mindfulness is such an important piece of life, but like I said, when it comes to weight loss, in the context of weight loss, I think it can be a very valuable tool. And I have found that patients who really take the time to be mindful of their experiences, and in particular, the reason that comes around so quickly for my patients is oftentimes I'll prescribe a CGM or continuous glucose monitor. So they're already a bit understanding what they're eating, and then they're paying attention to not only everything that they're doing, like I just mentioned, but what does their body do to these particular foods with in relation to the one data point of glucose. Now, that's not the entire picture of someone's metabolism, but it's an important one. So Again, I hope you found that helpful, and I will be back tomorrow for day 13 already. All right. You guys have a great rest of your day.